Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV in a new edition of our online interview series. Today, we want to get an update from Mawson Gold, and Ivan Fairhall, the CEO, is here with us. Hey, good morning. How are you, my friend? Are you good?
I'm very well, very well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time. And Mawson, we are talking on a regularly basis, really. And also, I'm a shareholder of the company. I have to disclose that also. And it looks like still we have a lot of undervaluing in the gold sector. You are one of those exploration companies who delivered so far, but the success is not mirrored in your valuation in the price of the stock. But we come to that in a second. First of all, I want to talk about your new magnetic survey highlights on new exploration targets in Finland. As we know, you have a great resource already there established, but it looks to me like now that you are filling the gap between Rajapalot and Rompas.
That's right. Yeah, we certainly are. And this new magnetic survey is really opening up the property in that area that you refer to that we haven't really looked before, but we certainly like what we see now. We've taken a close look. So just to sort of explain, news release is kind of technical, but to sort of explain what's going on there. Just reminder that in Finland, most of the surface of Finland is covered in a thin layer of till. So you can't really see what's going on underneath the survey. So underneath the surface. So what we've got here is this geophysical, this magnetic survey to help take a look through underneath that cover and work out what's going on. And what are we looking for? There's sort of two factors here that we believe are really important in finding big deposits in Finland. Mm-hmm. First of all, we've got gold fluids. Now, we've already known that. We've demonstrated that. We've got on one side of the property, we've got our 1 million ounces at Rajapalot, and then on the other side, we have 6 meters at Rompas, 6 meters at 617 grams a ton, and we don't really know where either of those, particularly over at Rajapalot, that deposit's open at depth. We don't really know where it ends, but what we know is there was a lot of gold flowing through this system, and that those two deposits, those two gold mineralizing events, were at the same time at 1.8 billion years, and it is important. Mm-hmm. So they're the same event, but they're 8 kilometers apart. We've got this big area in between, and we haven't really looked there, and so that's where the geophysical survey comes in, and what we see in that survey is that we can see structures. And what structures are is the rocks are moving around and they create gaps. And what fills those gaps is fluids, like I was talking about with the gold. And so where you've got structures that are active at the same time as the fluids are flowing around, that's what we're looking for. And that's what we've targeted here and what we've identified there. We found over 30 places on the 30 targets on the structure where we think that those structures were moving around at the same time as the fluids. And certainly elsewhere in Finland, that's where the biggest deposits, and the world actually, is a very important age, a gold age for big deposits. Agnico Eagle's Kittilä mine, 10 million ounces, also in Finland. Rupert's 4 million ounce Hickory deposit. They were all formed at the same time, and that's what we're looking for, a big deposit in the center of our property.
Mm-hmm. Great. So that means with the targeting, you are preparing for a future drill program, because otherwise it makes to me no sense. So what do you think the drill program would look like? Because 3,000 hectares is not the smallest area, so you must be really sure where you are drilling. And how deep do you think you have to drill in the first round?
So the first thing that we're going to do before we get the deeper diamond drilling holes is we're going to take a look at those targets, and there's a couple of techniques that we can use that are relatively low cost, and you can deploy them at a large scale. And this is being done quite a lot in Finland with very high success, and that's is known as base of till drilling, where you drill down through the till and just take a little bit of the top of the sample and top of the surface and see what's there, and also partial leach sampling, which is a geochemical soil sampling survey that we can use. So we can cover a huge area with that, and we can find out where the gold is, and then we can then come back and follow up with deeper drilling. But probably realistically in the early days, not terribly deep drilling. If these deposits they outcrop elsewhere on the property at Rompus, at Rayapolot, at Polocus, the deposit there outcropped at surface, and that was the first thing we found when we went on to find 1 million ounces. So in the early, finding these deposits is probably going to be a result of relatively short drilling, but how deep we need to drill really depends on how far they go. And over at Rayapolot, we haven't found the bottom. So you never know what you're going to find, but we're certainly excited about these new prospects.
Okay, so you have done the first homework, then you do the second homework, and then comes the royal homework, I would say, the diamond drilling.
Exactly.
Okay, super. Are you searching also then for gold and cobalt? Because it looks to me like it's like the same geological setup, and you have gold and cobalt so far, right?
Certainly. Over at Rayapolot, that's where we've got that's the gold and the cobalt exist together, and they are together. And so the great thing about it, and what we're going to show in our PEA that we're doing at the moment on the project, is when you take the gold out, you also take the cobalt, and so they exist together, and we're hopeful to find more of that on the project, because cobalt's, as everyone knows, a super important metal in this transition economy. It's very important as part of batteries. And Europe needs more cobalt. Finland's a leader in Europe on cobalt, and they're very keen for us to find more cobalt, so we can build out that production capacity in country.
Super. Time-wise, what do you think? How much time do you need from now, let's say, until you really can start with diamond drilling?
Well, we're out there already taking the samples that I referred to in the partial leach samples. So we're already into it, and depending on what we find, these targets, you can go and, once you've found them, you can go and drill them. So it's just a matter of us going and taking the samples, getting assays, taking a look at what we've got, and then deciding which ones are worth drilling.
So that's super. So that means, like, over the next months, you are very busy.
Months, yeah,
Super.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Great. Then I saw also there was on 8th September, which is actually today, you had a news that you have appointed John Jens as an independent director. Can you give us more background on the gentleman, please, and why you have done that?
Yeah. Look, John's a really great addition to the Mawson board. He's a very accomplished guy, and he's got a long career in investment banking and corporate roles in the mining industry. And he's been at the table when some really big deals have happened. There's 2 transactions in particular, both that have happened in the last 3 years, both of them worth over $1 billion. John was VP of corporate development for Semifo Gold, was one of them, and he was on the board of North American Palladium. So, big transactions. He's a serious guy. And he's developed a pretty powerful skill set through his career on not just investment banking, the investor-facing side, but also the corporate strategy. And Mawson's got a lot on its plate. We've got our PEA, which is due out in October. We know we've got a lot more to find with this exploration, as well as more resources associated with the Rayapolot deposit. We've got this new property in Sweden, and we've got this big chunky block in ASX listed Southern Cross Gold, a big investment that's worth nearly all of our market cap. And so we've got all of these sort of pieces of value there, and having a guy like John with his skill set join the board, so it's a very positive thing for Mawson.
So Southern Cross is also doing well, because, as you said, this is almost your market cap. I mean, that's really a joke valuation wise, right?
It is a joke. They're doing very well down there in Australia. They've got drills turning. They're continually putting out good news as that Sunday Creek project really matures. And, all I can say is Mawson's a very happy shareholder to own 60% of such a really high quality project. Certainly a nice thing to have in the portfolio. Look, it's not being reflected in our valuation, but there is a lot of value there, and people down on the ASX see that. And Mawson shareholders can get a good sense of the value of that deposit through the share price of Southern Cross Gold.
Absolutely. That's also one of the reasons why I'm still a shareholder, because I see this total valuation. I mean, honestly, your share price should be 100% higher and still not reflecting what you have. To my
I think
understanding.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. Look, everyone needs to make their own investment decisions, but
Yeah,
certainly we see
absolutely.
a lot of value in the portfolio for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe you want to say one word to Sweden, Skellefteå?
Yeah, sure. So we've finished our drill program down there. We've released the results of first 2 holes. The rest of the results are coming out there. We're excited by what we see there. We found high grade gold in the first 2 holes. We're in an established mining jurisdiction that's produced over 7 million ounces just within 22 kilometers of the property. So like really close. There's operating mines there today. So certainly a good place to find a new deposit, and that's what we're going to try and do.
Fantastic. Super. Ivan, thank you very much for the short update. Yeah, keep it going. And I have a feeling that we get a lot of news flow from you guys until Christmas.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ivan Fairhall, the CEO of Mawson Gold. And you heard it. Yeah, work is moving forward. They have done their drone surveys here to close the gap between Rompas and Raya Palot. And yeah, 3,000 hectares of land, which is now really systematically explored, I would call it. And this is really the beauty of it, because it was never really drilled, and there was never done a lot of work. So geotechnically and geologically, it is like the same, like here the 1 million ounce or over 1 million ounce they have found so far, plus the cobalt at Raya Palot. And this is fantastic. Those are very good foundations to do more work. And as Ivan alluded to, there will be a lot of news flow within the next weeks and months. And honestly, as I said, I think the share price today is already 100% undervalued, because alone their share in Southern Cross Gold is the market cap almost of today of Mawson Gold. So that is really crazy. But those are the opportunities sometimes the stock exchange gives us, because sometimes valuations are not properly done in the market, and this is the chance to get cheap into good companies. So check out Mawson Gold. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.